Welcome back to the Skyriver Cantina with Dan the Man and Zane Rolls. We're talking about The Last Jedi, episode 8. Yeah. I'm going to start off by saying it's called The Last Jedi. It's not The Last Jedi. There are numerous comic books, video games, live animation, or not live animation, but animation, having other Jedi still being alive during this time.
Oh yeah, no. By a long shot, she's not the only Force sensitive in the fucking galaxy. So there always is the potential for more Jedi and more Sith, because in the Star Wars galaxy, they produce
and they do
people that are Force sensitive.
Yeah, they do come out of nowhere from just different planets, different life forms.
Because that's how the Force works.
Yeah. So there's no way she's the Last Jedi.
No way. Eventually, even if they terminated everything Jedi and Sith right now, eventually Force sensitives would end up finding each other and coming together and starting a whole new Jedi fucking culture.
Yeah, in 10 years it's going to be all over again. Then they're going to have a whole war.
They probably have to. Well, I mean, if you go with Disney's way of doing it, yeah, because, I mean, it just takes, like, you know, never knowing anything at all.
Yeah,
like,
knowing
in the Force,
everything.
and then all of a sudden just Jedi mind trick somebody. So, I mean, in Disney's vision of it, yeah, I mean, it would be in, like, 10 years, you'd have another 1,000 Jedi just fucking super badass and, you know, like Grandmaster Yoda style. Like, just breaking it down on motherfuckers in 10 years. So, I mean, I totally would. But in reality, it would probably be 50, 60, couple hundred years before a big enough group of Force sensitives. Yeah. I mean, then there's always the possibility that there's another one of Yoda's race out there.
Well, there is
stashed away. And they come across some Force sensitives, and
they got
Grogu, you know,
from the Mandalorian.
Why do you wish to torture me with that?
But I don't think he's a Jedi. I just think he's Force sensitive. Because Luke gave him an ultimatum about, do you want to train as a Jedi or do you want to go with the Mandalorian? And he's like, fuck this Jedi shit. And then, yeah, he's with the Mandalorian now. Still Force sensitive, though. Heavily Force sensitive. That dude's crazy with the Force. Also, who's crazy with the Force was Snoke.
What?
Snoke?
Snoke was disgusting.
He was dragging people around with his mind.
I mean, well, technically, you should be able to do that with the Force. Like, it's just the Jedi don't do that kind of thing because that's against the way that the Jedi are. To like, force push somebody, force pull somebody for, like, force pushing in a battle to get them away or knock them, whatever.
Yeah.
Or, like, force pulling them to, usually when they do that, it's not because they're trying to pull them to do something mean to them. That's usually they're trying to pull them to save them from something.
Yeah.
You know, the Jedi don't use the powers like the Sith do. The Sith force pull you and then start trying to torture you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Why doesn't General Hux shoot Poe at the beginning of the movie when it's just one X-Wing sitting up there with the whole fleet?
Because he was trying to... Poe was, like...
It doesn't make any sense, though.
Yeah, but it kind of does, because he's kind of being that arrogant Imperial...
So, is Hux just that naive, that dumb?
No!
To, like, not get it?
No. He was being an arrogant Imperial. He had all the power. It's one little fucking X-Wing who apparently is trying to deliver a message from the general of the other side, which, I mean, in actual battle thing, has to technically listen to it. Okay? But, at first, you know, a couple of, wanting to, the first couple of times Poe screwed with it. Like, the first couple of times would have been understandable. But then after that, he kind of sort of... He was just so confident and arrogant in the fact that, that this guy would obviously know who the fuck he is. So if he's sitting there doing that, then that means he doesn't know that he can't hear me or something. Right?
Yeah.
And that's all it was. It was just straight up hubris. It was just straight up human fucking arrogance that there's no way this dude doesn't recognize my fucking voice and know who the fuck I am. And so it's got to be some kind of malfunction. And then figured out that, no, he's just stalling for time. That's all he was doing. And, okay, alright. Shoot to some bitch. But it was too late by that point. But...
Okay, and then how does the X-Wing almost shoot down all the guns on the ship? Yeah, it's too close range, but why wouldn't they do that every other time with every other ship? Why isn't that just the go-to plan every time?
Because, okay, that was something that I looked up. Poe is apparently the best X-Wing pilot there's ever existed.
Yeah, I can see him whipping that shit. He's clean with it, but...
Okay, so that's on level of pilot skill. Not everybody would have that level of piloting skill to be able to pull that off every time.
Yeah, but there's
so that was basically just trying to show off that Poe is the best pilot ever. So they were just shoving something down people's throats and saying that's the best and you're going to take it as that way and that's the way it's going to be. That's what they were doing. They were just trying to show off that Poe is, super badass in an X-Wing. But I think I'd put my money on Wedge.
Okay, well, during the fight, when he's taking down the blasters, why does it take so long for the TIE fighters to get out of the ship to attack? Honestly, shouldn't there be TIE fighters already out and about?
That's what the one guy said on the Dreadnought. That's what the one dude said on the Dreadnought. Because he was told, he's not actually the commander of the fleet. The other dude, the blonde dude, Hogs or whatever. Hux?
Yeah.
Okay, he's the one in charge, right? And he didn't order for the fighters to be scrambled and sent out into space. Because he fucking, whatever. He's being an arrogant Imperial officer, basically.
Yeah.
Okay? When Poe started going and attacking, and he tries to say, we'll scramble the fighters, the commander of the Dreadnought turns and says, scramble the fighters. He's like, we should have did that 5 minutes ago. He said we should have done that 5 minutes ago to his own crew members. Because that's what he would have done if he wouldn't have had some higher ranking officer in control of the fucking fleet over him. If he would have just been there with him and just his Dreadnought, the moment he would have dropped out of hyperspace, his fighters would have been out of them bays. Because that's his fighter defense. There's a reason why he has them.
It's the most logical thing to do.
But Hux was the one in command, and he did not order them to be scrambled. So the pilots aren't ready to go. They're not sitting in their starfighters ready to go because they weren't ordered to be to be in them. They didn't think that they were going to need them.
Okay, well that's just on Hux.
It's on Hux. It's literally, that whole thing is all on Hux being an arrogant Imperial officer.
Yeah, that's kind of on him.
Yeah. He's, and the Rebels, because, that's really, let's not call them the Resistance, because that's a lie. It's just supposed to be a remake of the Rebels. So, the Rebels were fucking doing what Rebels do. Ornery-ass bullshit.
Yeah.
and they honestly didn't see that coming? Come on, man. The guy in the Dreadnought did, but if he would have scrambled his fighters, he would have got his ass in trouble for scrambling his fighters. Before he was told that he could scramble his fighters.
I would have done that shit anyways and be like...
because then Poe wouldn't have been able to do any of that, because he would have been under the... he still would have.
Or at least have them on standby, you know?
Like, he still would have managed to pull off shooting all the guns on there. Because, I mean, it had to happen.
Yeah,
and even if he would have had the eyeballs, even if he would have had the eyeballs after him, he still would have managed to pull it all off anyway from the get-go. Because it's called, what?
Plot armor.
Bingo!
That's not how the Force works, though.
That's... But it is. But it's not. Remember the Jar Jar episode? The thing that we was talking about?
Don't bring up Jar Jar.
I know, he's special, isn't he? I saw a meme. There's Jar Jar, right? Then there's Jar Jar's head, and they put it on like a dude, like it's like kind of ripped like Arnold from back in the day, was shirtless, and we'll not say it for YouTube. I mean, but I watched it on YouTube, but I don't want to get that sidetracked.
Okay. I got a question about the MG-100 Star Fortress SF-17 Heavy Bomber.
What?
Yeah, that's a long-ass name for... it's the long vehicles.
It was the bombers that they used?
That had, like, all the bombs on the sides and everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay, how did nobody die on the ship when the doors opened up on the bottom? Because they were in space. And they have no, like, shield on it. It's just an open door.
It's not necessarily that they didn't have... You might not notice it. It could have an atmospheric blocking shield that may not be as noticeable as, like, the big ones you see on the base. You know, like on the base of the
Star Destroyers. You gotta look this up.
But...
Because I don't think they do.
My thing is... Okay, they're in space.
Right? Yeah. How are they falling? Yeah, they would just stay there, huh? Unless they had like a spring type thing on the top to like hit them down and then the force would just drop them. But the way they dropped had the way
they dropped was by being released from a B-17 over freaking a bomb run. Gravity. That is how it looked like they were dropped. There is no gravity in space. There wasn't any mechanism pulling them down and around and releasing them. There was just literally, they were strung up on strings in the fucking bomber bay, and she hits the button, and they release. And when they released, they just fell right on out like they were...
Yeah.
Gravity dropped out of a bomber.
Honestly, I think they were a bad idea to begin with.
I mean, I actually kind of liked the look and the concept.
Well, if they had, like, more defense for the bombers, I think it would be a better idea.
Well, they fucking got one blew up, and then the one blew up, threw parts at the other one, it blew up, and that one knocked that one.
Yeah.
And there was only one left. Like, really? You guys stuck that close together that you could chain each other out?
Yeah, it's a bad idea. They should have had more coverage.
Yeah, dude, like, no, man. You guys should have been in tight formation, but staggered enough that you ain't going to get taken out by the other one. That was also just literally bad plot. What that was they wanted it to be down to one bomber. It had to be dramatic. It had to be dramatic.
Oh, every scene has to be dramatic. This is Disney that we're talking about.
It had to be dramatic. It couldn't be just some milk run bomb. Bomb run, man. It had to be super dramatic. The bomber had to be on fire and going down, as well as the other three before the bombs were dropped. So there's no return for the people in the bomber. And you had to have it. And then you had to have that struggle with the bombing trigger to get that dang thing released to fire. And you got to get it. Then
yeah, you had to kick it.
Yeah, and then she's laying there and she has to kick it. Like, you took longer to kick that down to you.
Honestly, she could have gotten up and crawled.
Climbed the ladder
like,
to
why aren't you doing that? Yeah, you might hurt a little bit, but honestly, this is for all the marbles.
You were fine. If you can move your leg to kick that, then you did not receive a spinal injury bad enough that you couldn't climb the ladder in time to get it.
That's true. That is very true.
And on top of it, then you rolled over on the platform and caught it?
Yeah, the way...
If you had no spinal injury, you should have been up that ladder.
The way she caught it was very unnatural. Because it was eye level to her when she was looking, like on the side, it was eye level to her. And then it was maybe a couple inches away from her face when she caught it. And a good, like, couple seconds went by before then.
That's all just slow motion thing that they did. What they were trying to do is they were trying to show it in slow motion so that way you could see that she saw it dropping. And then what she did is she rolled over real fast and snagged it.
Yeah, that's what.
And well, then her hand would, she'd snag it and bring her hand back up, and then push the button. So that's what she did. Snag it and pull her hand back.
Oh, and when she was touching her necklace.
Yep, and then she touched her necklace.
That was very weird too because
because the sister.
Yeah, but that
has the other half.
Yeah, but that would be very awkward to do because one arm is dangling off, and you're laying on a metal
platform, but she just put her hand underneath her.
Yeah, and she didn't move her body at all to move her hand.
Well, she's not fat like me, so it's probably easier.
Yeah, but it was still weird.
I was not paying that much nor cared to.
I pay a lot of.
I was paying more attention to the fact that the bombs were dropping like they were gravity bombs on Earth. That's what I was paying attention to. Like her and her little thing with her necklace, all that crap. The thing I was paying attention to is the bombs are dropping out of this like it's gravity dropped. And I mean, that could be...
That could be from
the inertial dampeners and stuff, because the inertial dampeners are also something that they also use to make the gravity, the artificial gravity in the ships. So maybe they got artificial gravity.
Yeah, but would it be that much from that distance?
For that much, I mean, the first ones wouldn't have had very much gravity to throw them down straight. So they would have dropped out and kind of sort of just floated. The ones higher up would have got enough momentum to really drop down towards the destroyer. Because you got vacuum of space. Vacuum of space doesn't have any fucking gravity in it, nothing. So them first bombs would have dropped out and would not have been going very fast and would have been left behind by the ship. Dropping still, but would have been dropping slowly. And they would have gotten faster drop as they came out because they picked up the ones higher in the ship had more momentum. So then those, by the time they would have hit the field where it no longer would have had the gravity, would have had the momentum to actually drop. So you would have had this trickle effect of a downward thing of the bombs going down to the fucking dreadnought. These last ones coming out would have been coming out with some speed. And it would have been like a reverse of an exponential growth curve. It would have been an exponential decay curve on a chart. It would have been not so much, and then it would have started going, and then all of a sudden it really would have plummeted. And that's how you would have seen the string of bombs.
Well, that's how
and
it
once
should
it would have hit the ship, and then it would have followed that, and then it would have just kept going up that curve and blowing up them, because the first ones would not have went that fast.
Yeah, a lot of that doesn't make any sense.
It literally worked off of gravity. Like, come on, man. What the fuck? You were not in a planet's atmosphere.
Yeah, I think that's more of a planet thing instead of a space thing.
Yeah, that bomber, if that's how it works, should be a planet. Like a bomber you use on the planet.
Should be. Probably was. But that was the only ship they had.
That was an oversight of people being too used to standard stuff on the planet. on Earth.
Oh, I have a question. Who's winning the war? I thought the Rebel Alliance already won the war, and then the First Order was coming back. Now, are they like a big thing now?
Well, you gotta remember, in Force Awakens, they blew up the entire New Republic, remember? So now the only government thing in the fucking deal that's left is the little governments that were out here on their own planets, individual planets, and the First Order. I mean, according to this Disney shit, but I mean, you still got corporate sector out there running their own damn thing.
Yeah, but they're just doing their own thing, making shit. It's just a fucking...
So, like, to me, that's the reason why, is the New Republic supposedly was completely taken out by the Starkiller base. Like, okay, you had blown up the home planets, but what about the entire fleet?
Yeah, the whole
entire fucking fleet of the New Republic would not have been at just those planets. You would have had New Republic fleet everywhere else, too. And would have been in command. They would have had their generals and their admirals in command of those. And they would have had to come together and fucking get their shit together, but they could have done it. They aren't like the Empire. So the highest ranking military person in the New Republic would have taken command of all the soldiers. And everybody would have been relatively just fine with that. And so you would have still had all those New Republic fleet that's out there in the galaxy. You still would have had those that the First Order would have to take on. And I'm sorry, but this is an established government that has quite a lot of ships. And they took quite a lot of ships from the Empire.
Yeah.
And you're trying to tell me that there's nothing left at all? Like, it's completely wiped out? No. They still have the remnants, just like the Empire had the remnants of the Empire after the second Death Star and the Emperor was killed and all of that. They still had the fucking Empire. The New Republic still exists. It still has the men. It still has the ships. Not every government official was probably on those fucking planets. Like, come on.
Yeah, there's no way. Especially in that short amount of time.
It's like, really, guys? You're really pushing the fucking angle here, is what they're doing.
Yeah, they're trying to move shit really fast. They don't really care about the story. Okay, well, going to the Rebel base where we're at, it's a ship that they're on. Fucking Poe. No, not Poe. Finn. Why is he walking around with no help, but he has all the medical shit on him when he wakes up?
Oh!
And he just starts walking around the base and nobody helps him?
Okay, so you know Bacta tanks?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically that suit was like a new version of, like, using Bacta. That's what the liquid...
Yeah, but nobody was helping him. That dude was spraying everywhere.
Oh, like, nobody noticed him before that point to be like, dude...
Nobody cared. There was no medical people in the
nobody tell Poe.
Fucking nobody.
Yep, nobody tell Poe.
And then his first question is, where's Rey? Out of fucking everything, it's like, what the fuck happened to you, bro?
Like,
and shouldn't he know? Wasn't he there?
Well, he was unconscious at the end of that fight, remember? He took the lightsaber up the back. His jacket is, same jacket as the first movie, and same jacket again. It's the same jacket. It's got a deal that's stapled together in the front, but the back had a lightsaber go through it.
Oh.
And he ends up with the same jacket, but there's nothing on the back that shows that it got slashed apart by a lightsaber. No repair work, nothing.
Maybe
so they just handed it. So he did. No, it's the same jacket. It's Poe's original jacket.
Yeah.
Huh.
Maybe you just went to Poe and be like, where do you get this? That's a big hole, so I'm just trying to get a new one.
Right, yeah, they just gave him Poe's jacket again, like, But they got another Poe jacket lying around from the first time, you know?
I don't know.
How many jackets you got, Poe?
Oh,
like,
okay.
I need another one. Like, you got another one of these things, bud? Because I need one. He's like, yeah, bro, you can have this one here. It's got a deal here, but I mean, it's cool. You can have it. Like,
he's got a third arm, you know?
Yeah, like he's worried about a Poe jacket when, you know, first question is Rey. Like, come on, man, this shit was stupid. He just has the same fucking... That jacket should have been cut open in the back and fucked.
Damn, I just had fucking something I was gonna say. Totally forgot, though.
First question was Rey. So, maybe along those lines?
I'm not sure. Something about Finn, though.
Something about Finn?
Yeah.
Like his, lover boy fucking go juice of chasing Rey?
That's also a weird thing that didn't end up to be anything. The whole romance thing between them two. If it was a romance, it was weird.
Like, he had a hard-on for this girl.
Yeah. And
then at the end of it, like, she just goes off by herself. Well, okay, hold on. Let's not skip to the next movie yet. Let's just...
Yeah, I have no idea what happens in the next movie.
I watched it today because I just wanted to get it over with.
I've seen it once, and now I have to see it again, sadly.
But, yeah, that whole fucking thing, whatever. Rey is doing her thing, and he's chasing her like a lovesick puppy.
Oh, okay, so I have a question. When Rey meets Luke, and he tosses a lightsaber, and goes away and does his own shit, you know, goes about his day, and he strikes the fish with a spear, how does he get that fish? Do you think he forces it up to him, or do you think he, fucking lifts up the whole stick to get the fish?
I don't know, they decided not to show that.
Or do you think he just, pulls it all the way up and you're like, Rey, get this real quick. Pull it off.
He probably didn't do that. He probably did not hand it over to Rey to get it off.
He can't use the Force because he
cut himself off from the Force. So, you know, that's a mystery.
He's doing a workout.
I would think he probably just pulled the dang thing up. Or there's...
That's a long-ass stick, though, to be pulling up.
Pulls the whole thing up, and then after he pulls the whole thing up, he then throws, whips it around so it lands on the other bank.
He's also on a ledge.
I know.
Off of a cliff.
I know.
So that's still a workout, though.
That's just some Luke Skywalker legend shit, dude.
And he doesn't even have the Force.
You just have to accept that Luke just did that.
I'm not accepting that. I can't accept that.
Disney did not want to reveal how he pulled the big stick up and got the fucking fish or whatever he did. They did not want to reveal that.
Yeah, it looked cool, but
the practicality at the end of it is like...
How do you get it, bro? How do you get the fish?
Yeah, how'd you get the fish, man?
Oh, kind of along with that, when he gets the milk from the Thala Sirens.
See, you be going into what this creature is.
Yeah, you have to.
No, man.
We're talking about Star Wars. You gotta be into Star Wars.
I know, but I'm just watching it for the...
You're watching it because I said we should do this, and you're like, well, I guess.
Yeah.
So here we are.
You're fucking torturing me. You're definitely fucking
I'm torturing myself, too.
You are Sith, alright?
Yeah.
You are Sith for this.
No, I'm a Grey Jedi.
No.
I lean more towards Sith, though, because...
Yeah, no. You are just freaking... You are... fucking Darth Zane.
That would be pretty cool.
That's what you are. You're Sith for this.
I'm not gonna wear a fucking mask. If I don't need to, I'm not gonna wear one.
Oh, okay. So remember when you asked that? So it kind of. So you finally actually get to see like the Knights of Ren. Like you actually get to see them like for like legit.
Yeah.
In the third one, Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, but
so
not that much.
I can reveal that because you asked that question, like why does he wear the helmet? Does that have something to do with like maybe the Knights of Ren? You mentioned it does. It's the helm. It's a helmet that the Knights of Ren wear. All the Knights of Ren have a similar kind of helmet to what he was wearing. So that is a Knight of Ren helmet. So he does have a. I don't know where the Knights of Ren come from.
You didn't look that up?
No.
Man.
But the Knights of Ren do have helmets very similar to his. So it was a thing for the Knights of Ren. So he did have a purpose of wearing it. It's because he's a member of the Knights of Ren. So that there is a purpose to it.
Yeah. Well, he kind of fucks that helmet up in this movie.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Or does it come back?
I'm not revealing it. You have to watch the torturous movie yourself and see.
Okay, well, with the Thala sirens, will you drink the milk?
Apparently it's safe.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's like the same blue milk that they have everywhere else, right?
Well, it was green.
Oh, it was green?
Blue. Yeah, in the movie it was green.
Oh.
And he's purposely, like, I think he purposely, sloppily drank that on purpose to get because she was watching.
Yeah, but why?
To try to gross her out, probably. Because, I mean, you got this creature that's not exactly, it's kind of gross kind of looking, and then it's got its big old udders right there, and those are not really, like, they're kind of gross looking, and then he just goes some freaking milk right out of the old udder right there, and it's all kind of green and stuff, and then he just swigs it and gets it all over his mouth and his chin and stuff, right in front of her. He's like this. He's like it was good, like making sure it tastes good.
Do you think it tastes good?
And she, but the thing is, I think he purposely did that shit just to screw with her.
Well, do you think it tastes like breast milk or milk that we get from, like, cows?
It probably tastes like milk.
What kind of milk?
I don't know.
Do you think it tastes like sweet milk?
I mean, goat milk tastes different than cow milk.
I'm asking you a question.
And I'm sure that human breast milk tastes different than that. And then you got the other species that have breast milk. They and milk probably all taste different than each other.
Well, what do you think the milk tastes like? Because I don't think it's a cow. It's more like a sea creature.
No, that was like a fucking cattle-y thing. It was just chilling, though.
Yeah, but most of the planet is water that they live on.
Okay, sure, whatever. Like, seals have produced milk for their fucking young.
Well, what does that taste like?
I don't know.
Is that even a dish?
I don't know what it tastes like. As far as I know, nobody's milked a seal to find out. Okay?
I'm pretty sure somebody milked a seal. There has to be.
I don't know if anybody's went up there and milked the seal, and then went,
I wonder what this is.
To see what it tasted like. I'm pretty sure nobody's went up to a wild seal and milked it to see what it tastes like.
There has to be at least two people.
Oh my
Or at least a tamed seal.
Oh my goodness. Listen, you're starting to get weird about the milk like Homelander.
I'm just asking the question.
You're getting weird about the milk like Homelander, okay? Get it under control, alright?
I don't like milk to begin with.
He said, I don't like milk to begin with. I can't tell because you're all about that milk, homie.
I'm just asking a question. I'm just trying to get more knowledge. That's it.
I have no idea what that tastes like. None. Only time I've ever seen them creatures is in that one movie.
Yeah, they got a lot of new creatures in the movie.
And you will probably only ever see those creatures that one time in the movie.
Yeah.
What do you think of like the little weird like mammal like penguin?
Oh, the porg. That's what they're called.
Whatever.
Porgs.
Whatever. Chewie was gonna eat it, but they're all like, ooh.
Oh, they look so good though. As they're fried and like
dude,
fluff.
no, that thing looked like a fake toy chicken that they just greased up.
Yeah, it did.
It looked
but just imagine that. But like you plucked it and then you. What if it just had like a natural butter to it? That's why it looked all glistening. It just had a natural butter to it.
Yeah, blubber. I'm sure it had some blubber in it. You cooked it, and then that blubber is just fat, and it turned into juices to meat. Probably tastes really good. But then, they all had the sad eyes on him, and then he couldn't eat the fucking thing afterward. Like,
I don't think he would have given a fuck, though.
Like Chewie's different. Chewie's cool. But at the same time...
I wouldn't have given a fuck. Because a lot of us, we eat chicken all the time and go to a farm and there's chickens. We don't care. We eat a burger. We're looking at cows. We don't really make the connection.
These things are a little bit smarter than regular chickens.
Well, I don't care. It's food.
They literally. They're literally actually. They're kind of intelligent. Not much, but they're kind of intelligent.
A little bit.
Yeah.
More like a dog and a cat, but they still get eat too.
Yeah, not in this. Well, I can't say.
Well, it's like
not in select communities of this country do dogs and cats get ate. Okay.
Yeah. Well, kind of everything gets ate at a point.
And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I'm just saying that that's not common practice in America.
Yeah. You say America.
Yeah, in America.
Shit. What were we talking about? Sorry, guys. I got a terrible memory with fucking everything. I gotta put down notes for the movie so I don't forget anything. Oh, that ship, the Supremacy, the big ship at the beginning of the movie, Snoke's ship, the big one, the biggest ship that they had.
Yeah, the thing that looked like a big old B-2 bomber modified into Star Wars and then made ginormous.
Maybe. I don't know what that is. But no, it looks really cool. It's fucking 60 kilometers long from end to end. And that's like roughly 37 miles. And it has 32 satellite engines. Now you take
that ship and you jump it into hyperspace and you take that safety off so it slams into a planet.
Oh, no.
And that planet's toast.
Yeah, so is all the other planets around it because that mass is just going to shoot debris everywhere. So
It'll take a while.
Yeah, it's going to take a while, but that shit's still going to hit the planets.
Maybe. Not necessarily.
With that big of a ship?
There's a lot of space. No, what I mean is, there's a lot of space actually in between planets.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So there's a chance that nothing actually does hit any other planets if it gets destroyed. But, remember that thing I said about the hyperspace? And using the ship to slice a ship?
What?
She did it in this movie. She turned the freaking rebel ship at him, fired up the light speed, and blew the ship through the other ships. And split them all in half.
Oh, yeah. Well, it looks cool, but I don't think the trickle effect with the other ships, I don't think they would have gotten affected as much as they did. Because it looks like they all had the line going through them, which made no fucking sense. Because the line was supposed to be because of the ship going through. So if you're having the ship go through every other ship around it, you know.
Exactly my point, my boy. She could have took Snoke's ship out. That would have worked.
Yeah.
Because technically, whenever they go to hyperspace, they always try to avoid having something directly in front of them. Yeah. Because they actually do, they jump into a wormhole, but that wormhole still has to go through regular space, which is why they have the safety feature on the hyperdrive for the gravity wells, because if they get too close to it, they can get pulled into something or go into a planet or whatever, even though they're in a wormhole.
So
they are still in actual real space as well. So her being able to actually line up the ship and get them on the takeoff, because that's what it would have been, the takeoff run of the transition to the jump that she would have hit. So she could have hit Snoke's ship like she did and would have fucking just massively destroyed it like she did.
Yeah.
But that would not have done a massive thing to all these other ships and broke them all in half, all in this weird little... It would not have done that.
It would have affected a couple ships, yeah, but not all of them.
The thing is technically, no, because you're in space. There is no shock waves. There is no sound or anything in actual space. It's all
there
vacuum.
Might be like a 0.0001% or something. But
so, like, no, literally, there's in the vacuum of space. Sound waves do not travel in it.
We're not space
Shock
scientists.
waves do not travel in it.
We don't got degrees in that.
No, but I do know that. Now, radiation can send out waves through, okay? But it's radioactive waves, which is different. You don't actually have a shock wave in space. Technically, every space thing we've ever watched with all the explosions and all that would not function that way.
Oh, I kind of have a theory about the explosions in space, because they do have the air in the ship. So if it explodes, the air would release just a little bit for the explosion, but then it would
dissipate real fast. It would be instant fire out. The moment the air is consumed, the fire's gone.
But
so it would be a boom.
Yeah, it depends how much air is in the ship, though, for the much of the explosion that it would have.
But you always see the shock waves from the explosions, and technically there would not be a shock wave because there is no air. Like how we see shock waves, there is no air of a shot for the shock wave to go through to actually shock the other ships like it supposedly did. Now, doing that would have definitely severed that piece and would have definitely sent pieces of Snoke's ship in all kinds of directions that would have scattered like a blast away from that spot and would have damaged other ships, but it wouldn't have went like that. And not every single one of the fleet underneath of the Snoke ship was all in that one section. If you actually watch in the movie, they were spread out underneath the entirety of Snoke's ship out in front of it. Out in front of it. Not underneath of it or behind it, out in front of it.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden Snoke's ship's in front of it and they're all grouped right here behind this point where she's going to fly her ship through and she's going to take out the entire fleet.
Oh, no.
No!
I guess they're saying, oh, they got one ship, we're just going to have this big ship fire until...
And we're going to put everybody else right here, and she's just going to line everything up, and she's going to take our wing off, and everything will be okay.
We got to set up, like, pins for bowling.
Yeah.
We gotta have them have at least a win, a chance, at least, of winning.
Absolute bullshit.
Yeah, their tactics aren't really that good. But fucking Kylo Ren, though, he's pretty sick with it. Well, flying-wise with his TIE fighter, he's really sick with it. When he blew up the hangar base,
he's an ace pilot.
Well, he also has the Skywalker blood, which fucking...
Yeah, but apparently that doesn't matter anymore, because, you know, Poe is, like, the best pilot ever, so...
Oh, no, I would like to see them fucking flying at it.
Han was an Imperial TIE fighter pilot.
Yeah.
And he flew freighters, too. Han literally probably was the best pilot.
Yeah, he has to whip that big-ass ship around.
He whips that big-ass ship around like she's an itty-bitty little starfighter. So you see Poe doing his little... thing and shooting him down
with the next wing.
Like Han don't have to because he's got the turret guns technically, so he can just use the turret guns and get 360 degrees around, right? But come on, man, you've seen this dude pull some shit. He puts that ship through maneuvers like it is a starfighter.
Yeah.
Like, I did that. The Millennium Falcon is not your average, freighter. She is just an oversized fighter, baby. She's just packing a little bit more firepower and a whole lot more speed, and well, that means she's got to have a bigger ass. But she fucking moves. Just gets right in there. But there is something I do want to mention from Rise of Skywalker. Apparently, they may have probably, sort of, kinda. I think somebody said, well, changing the Millennium Falcon's, dish on it and kind of changing how it was and everything like that. Maybe we shouldn't have done that, because in the third movie, they go back to having a round dish and the Falcon looks a little more like she's supposed to.
Well, it's interchangeable.
Well, yeah, the dish can be changed, but they changed it in the first one and left it that way in the second one. But in the third one, they changed it back to the round dish that the Millennium Falcon originally had. And I think that was because some of the fans were not happy about the change of the dish.
Oh yeah, they're never happy, especially if it's Star Wars and they change something.
Especially on that ship. Like Finn said in the first one, in this one, when the Falcon shows up at the battle that they're having on the Salt Planet down there at the Rebel base, and they're like, oh man, it pulled off all the fighters. It's like, oh yeah, no, they hate that ship. Like,
yeah. Well, I also think
the Empire, there are a few ships that the Empire will fucking chase down with everything it has, because they absolutely hate them.
I also think everybody was going after that ship because fucking Kylo is very unhinged in this movie.
Oh, yes. But I did like it, though, that his unhinged nature...
Yeah, I can see it.
It started to actually form up a little bit.
Yeah.
And he started to get focused. He started to get himself focused together, and he started to kind of be a little more like Vader.
Yeah.
But he was still himself, but he was getting that focus.
I kind of do like that unhingedness.
And Hux or whatever, like Hux was trying to tell him, he tried to tell him something, and he just went like this with the Force, whoop, and just basically slapped him with the Force.
I had that in my notes, because it's really funny.
I was like, that's kind of Vader-y right there. I'm like, oh yeah, finally. Okay, now I kind of like Kylo Ren. He's still unhinged, and not making very clear thought decisions, but he's...
Yeah, he's more guided with anger, though, so it's not going to be...
Yes, his anger's more guided, more focused. I mean, he's a bit off, he loses focus a little bit.
All the way focused, because he's just like, fuck all this shit.
Yeah, but he's definitely, instead of raging and slicing up everything, he is starting to put his, okay, there's that, get that with everything, get that with everything, and get that with everything.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you're mouthing off, whap! Shut up! That had to be the moment that Hux decided that he had
to... It was a long time coming, though. He was fucking back-talking to him the whole movie.
Oh, yeah, no, I can't mention it, because we gotta wait. On the next one, I'll mention it. We'll come back to this.
Okay.
Okay, that had to be the moment. You'll know when you watch the third one, we do that one next week.
Oh, fuck, I'm not ready for that. Well, when, Kylo Ren blew up the hangar, Poe should have been more damaged than he was in the explosion, and BB-8 should have been just a pile of parts as well.
Well, technically, there would have been the shockwave in the hangar, because there's atmosphere in the hangar.
Yeah, but he was...
So the shockwave of the blast would have threw them back like they did.
Yeah. But he didn't get burnt. Yeah, he had a little, dirt on,
Well, and his head popped off.
Well, that's BB-8, though. He's magnetic.
His head popped off? I mean, come on, dude. What do you want? He got decapitated for a little while.
I guess he got 2 parts.
He got decapitated for a little while.
It should have been more of a thing.
Okay. Yeah, probably. But at the same time, I mean, it's plot armor.
Yeah, it's gonna happen in movies. I just still don't like it when it happens in movies
because you need
it's
BB-8.
not realistic.
You need BB-8 for the story. So BB-8 was in the hangar. He gets thrown back out the hangar. You gotta have Poe for the story, so he doesn't quite make it into the hangar before the explosion and the shockwave throws him back. The hangar door's closed because it's got to, because the atmosphere is flying out of the hangar now.
Oh, and also on the point of death, Leia should also be dead.
I was
and
waiting.
honestly, okay, so he doesn't fire, so he still kind of has that good in him, because he's still balancing between the two. Very hardcore.
He's still got that part of him that could be saved.
But his infantry blew it up, and she was just in space, and she floats back to the door.
Right.
That's not how the Force works, for one.
Well, no, technically, that is how the Force works.
So you're
She's
saying
gonna Force pulled herself to the door. Okay, don't use the Force on that one. Technically, that is how the Force works. So you're saying
all the Jedi can just be flying in space.
But
that's outrageous. And also, when the door opened, everybody should have been sucked out because there was no other latch to cover that room, because that's still an open room.
Because it had an airlock latch.
Yeah.
But you don't see the airlock behind her. You don't see the airlock closed behind her because all that's super damaged.
Yeah.
And so she just floated to the door. So what'd she do? She floated herself to the door and then kept the fucking atmosphere in with the Force until they pulled her in and they closed the door? Is that what she did?
I don't know.
I mean, technically you could do that shit with the Force. But my thing is...
Does she know how to do it?
She was actually fully trained as a Jedi, but she turned it down. But the thing is...
I didn't know if she was fully trained or not.
You can go out. I mean, it showed it in Star Wars before, but them going out in, like, minimal... Like, the Jedi going out in very minimal kind of protection against space.
Yeah.
You know, with, like, the helmet, with the oxygen, and, like, just a few other things to give them... their clothes like a full suit feel to it, but their clothes were their clothes still, and they still, you know. So, yes, but at the same time, this woman got thrown out in an explosion.
She should have gotten burnt to a crisp because the whole room was destroyed.
Got thrown out in an explosion, sucked out into space. So you're telling me...
Didn't get hit by any debris.
And you got no protection... I mean, technically they tell you because space has no pressure. That's the reason why cabins are pressurized.
Yeah, wouldn't you just explode? As we know it as space to be. But I also read that the space density could be different than our space density.
Vacuum of space is vacuum of space.
Yeah, but they're... In, I guess different galaxies have different laws of physics that they go by. Yeah, no. That's what they're going by.
Apparently, no. Leia should have been dead.
Yeah.
Period. End of discussion. Leia should have been dead. Now, if she had some kind of protective gear, like if she'd had like a fucking, at least something to kind of fucking seal up.
Yeah, something to breathe.
Okay, I could see that she may have survived the thing and could fucking weakly pull herself back to the ship and get saved. I could see them kind of pulling that off because she was trained as a Jedi.
She should have went to a different door, though, because...
I can see that she manages to kind of get herself saved. If that's another... But the thing is she would have went out there, she would have tried to breathe because that's just how it is. Like, she would have had to been in a complete moment of absolute serenity before she went out that fucking thing to keep complete fucking focus that she didn't die. I don't know.
Well, she did feel Kylo. Like, there was that Force tension when he was flying around, and then they did feel each other in the Force. That's why he was like, oh shit, she's right there. And then she was like, oh, my son, and then boom.
Yeah, but she knew he didn't pull the trigger. She knew that he didn't pull the trigger.
Well, I don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, If they had that moment of connection, and she would have been able to feel that he wasn't the one that pulled the trigger, that he took his thumb away. She would have been able to tell.
I could believe that.
And then the other guy's still shot. So
but in that little instant, though, even with that, I think she would have, like, forgotten that little instant before getting blown up. Because she was in a coma for I don't even know how long.
Now, you know that thing about force bonds?
Yeah.
We're going to come back to that.
I do like the force bonds.
We're going to come back to that for the third one because I think Disney runs away with it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, I mean, they kind of take so they kind of take the aspect of what you can do with the force time travel that I told you about.
Yeah.
And affect things with the force time travel. I mean, but you can't, like, super affect something.
It's
right?
like, well, can you move material things through the force? Because it does happen in this movie, too. That's why I'm bringing it up now, because
they do touch their hands together.
Yeah, that, too, but also the water and whatnot. Mm-hmm. He has water on his glove.
Salt water, so he knew.
So,
and it just gets more and more intense from there. But
I guess you could just move shit through the force. So basically, like force teleportation.
Force teleportation, yeah. But I mean, like you literally, it gets like,
is that a newer force ability? Is that like an old force ability?
Why that's something that the ancients probably would have known how to do.
Yeah, but why isn't that like a common thing? That should be a huge common thing for Sith and Jedi. Wherever they want to go, just boom, I'm here. That should be like number one in the Jedi.
Like, oh man, we got this thing that we need to get from here to here. Oh well, just stop. You. Fucking thinking through the galaxy. Like, just focus with me, man. Just focus with me. I'm gonna mentally project. You're gonna mentally project. And I'm going to hand you this thing, and you're going to take it from my hand, and then you guys are going to have it on that planet across the galaxy from where I am. Perfect.
Well, they could have stopped that because, you could have just handed somebody a bomb, disconnected it, disconnect the force.
The two Jedi are going to do that to each other?
Jedi or Sith, because Jedi do sometimes become Sith. Alright.
Your next point?
Well, I was going to wrap this up, because it's about
Oh, geez,
time.
We already did it.
Yeah, but I do have a lot more, because this movie's just a shit show.
So you're telling me we're going to have another part 2?
Of course we have to have a part 2, because these movies are trash. Maybe when we get to the good movies, we could just do 30-minute episodes.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, they're awesome.
Yeah. We don't got to talk about a whole lot. Alright, well, this has been the Skyriver Cantina with
Dan the Man
and Zane Rolls. We'll get back to you on part 2 of the podcast.